Hey, welcome back, survivors, to another show. We're glad that you joined us tonight. We're going to have a really good show tonight. We're going to be talking about Chicago PD and another one of their infamous blunderous decisions that they've made. You won't want to miss this, and you're going to probably be kind of pissed when you hear about this decision that they've made. But we'll get into all that in just a little bit. Hey, John, we got a beer moment, brother?
Yeah, today we're going to try the Elysian Contact Haze. It's a hazy IPA. And it is hazy.
It is. Yeah, that's okay. Doesn't affect the taste any.
I'll tell you what, man, for an IPA, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not a
like
huge fan of IPAs.
Me neither, but that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I give that like an 8.25.
Wow.
Yeah, I like it.
For an IPA?
Yeah, right?
Wow. What do you got, Big John?
I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Okay, all right. But yeah, I'm not an IPA guy at all. I don't care for them, and I'm going to give this a solid 8.
Awesome.
Which for me, that's pretty damn high for an IPA.
No crazy hoppiness or anything like
No.
that.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Just
Good
enough
job,
that
John.
you can tell it's an IPA. I like it. Good job, John. Good job.
Thank you.
Hey, the beer moment is brought to you by Kenny's Groceries in 1792 in Orange City. We'd like to thank all of our sponsors. Our other sponsors are Kristen and Tom Clem Realtors, Clem and Company Property Investments, and CNR Constructors. You can visit the comments below. All of their information is down there, phone numbers, contact info, and their websites, so on and so forth. Please pay them a visit if you're ready to buy, sell, remodel, or you need some beer. We appreciate it very much, sponsors. Thanks.
All right, with that, we're going to go into our officer fallen moment. 143 officers killed as of this year in the line of duty. 58 to COVID-19, which is a drastic reduction from last year.
Yeah, that's good.
36 firearms related and 32 vehicle related. Those two are always unfortunately on the high side.
Firearms and
Vehicle
were how far apart?
4.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, all vehicle related. I lump in whenever I do this. I list it as vehicle related, and that includes vehicle accidents,
right.
Vehicle assaults, anything right. Vehicle struck by vehicle, anything that's vehicle related. I lump in there as vehicle related.
We go to the range 2 or 3 times a year and qualify and do all the shoot, don't shoot stuff and everything else. And we only went to the driving range because I was a driving instructor, pursuit instructor, and pit instructor. We'd only go to that once every 2 years.
Yeah, every few years.
And it's like, come on, guys, more police officers are killed in automobiles, and it just shows it. I mean, there's only 4 under.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that those are all, driver error or whatever. However, a lot of those could be prevented if they had a little better
Absolutely.
training, learn how to operate that vehicle at high speeds, this and that. So,
and you think about it, that's the officer's office. That's where they live for the 12-hour shift with minor exits and, but that's their office for 12 hours.
Yep.
Their entire shift.
Absolutely.
So with that, we're going to move to all the fallen officers this year.
Salute.
Salute. Rest
God
in
bless
peace.
you and your families. Yes, rest in peace.
All right. That being said, we still have some classic stickers, surviving the bad stickers, like we always say. It's this, only smaller and stickier. So, for a classic, that's what she said. Definitely with the smaller part. What was the name? Okay, you remember Ted Bundy, right?
Right.
What put Ted Bundy in the electric chair? Well, besides the officers, what main piece of evidence put Ted Bundy in the electric chair?
Is that the question?
No.
Okay.
I'm just bantering here.
Headlight out.
Well, that's what caught him.
Stop. Yeah.
The evidence they used in trial was bite marks
right.
on one of his last victims. So the question for today is, what was the name of the doctor, the forensic odontologist? You're going to have to do some research on this one. The forensic odontologist who made that identification
of Ted Bundy's
bite marks on his victim that really sealed the deal.
Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy, yeah. And the first subscriber to answer correctly in the comments below will get a Classic Surviving the Bed sticker.
Looks just like this, guys. Only
Smaller and stickier.
yeah.
I met this doctor, and he also made the bite mark identification on an old case from where we worked.
Really?
Yeah, that's that unsolved that we worked and finally
Yeah,
solved
yeah,
it. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Out
anyway,
there on the dirt road.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. That's awesome that you met him, though.
Yeah. So
Was he weird?
no,
No?
he was actually pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Do you remember the Emmy? I don't know if you were still working there or even there yet. There was an Emmy. I'm not going to say his name.
Medical examiner.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, medical examiner. And this guy, while he was doing the autopsy, he smoked a cigar.
Really? No, I never met
Had a
that guy.
cigar going the entire time, and I asked him one time. I said, "Doc, why are you smoking a cigar?" He goes, "Have you smelt what I'm cutting into?" And he said,
Right.
"I'd rather smell this than that." And I said, "Hey, good enough for me." I said, I wanted to say, "You got another one?"
Yeah, right.
But yeah, you walked in there, and it smelled like a little bit like dead body and a lot like cigar.
Was that the one while it was still at the hospital? You walk right in the back door and it's like,
Yes.
there it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Sure was.
There was an assistant medical examiner, and she was a little off. She collected. She had a little jar.
Was that the blonde?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
All I remember is she had a jar of all of the
Stones?
huge stones that she had
Yes.
collected.
In the county we all worked in, right?
Yeah,
Yes. She
yeah,
was
yeah.
a blonde.
When I was there's another assistant medical examiner, and he made jewelry from the stones.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, God. And some of these
Okay.
suckers were this big.
Oh yeah.
They were crazy.
Yeah, I saw the
gallstones
jar.
and
Yeah, some of them were monsters.
Yeah.
You know they had to operate to get those. Obviously, you can't pass something like
yeah,
that. I
yeah.
mean,
they had
Jesus.
died with them. Okay, so we're going to talk about Chicago PD and another fuck up on their part. This is the same agency that when we first started doing this podcast, we talked about Officer French. Was that her name?
Yes.
And she was killed in a traffic accident or a traffic stop. She was shot and killed. And tradition in law enforcement for a police officer who goes to the hospital and passes away at the hospital, she or he is escorted to the medical examiner's office. And they were going to be doing that, and some administrator said,
We're
"We're
not a
not."
deputy chief.
Deputy chief or deputy commissioner or something like that said, "We're not going to be waiting around for this bullshit. Get on with
Yeah.
it." And it's like, whoa.
Yeah, it was
okay.
a tradition. Yeah,
Yeah.
they lined up all the cars
Yep.
and they did it almost like a parade.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to the medical examiner.
Right.
Yeah.
So, same agency. Last Saturday, there was a shooting earlier in the city, and it was picked up by Shot Spotter. You know the
Right.
I don't know exactly how that
the
works.
camera thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it picks up, it's like triangulates where a gunshot is, and they can narrow it down.
Right.
So earlier in the day, they had a shot spotter, and there was a white Charger, Dodge Charger with a black hood spotted driving away from this shooting incident, and they didn't find it. A few hours later, this same black Charger, white Charger with a black hood, pulls up to this location in Chicago on the west side. 3 guys get out and shoot this 56-year-old guy to death right on the sidewalk. Bang, 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 bang. And they drive off. I think somebody got the tag off of it. And moments later, law enforcement catches up with is in the area of the vehicle. They haven't activated anything. The helicopter, for whatever reason, was down. I guess it's bad weather. And officers are following it. And I sent you guys the email of the, I don't know if you listened to
I
the...
wasn't able to watch.
Okay. Well, there was, you could hear over radio where just moments, shots fired, murder suspect, traveling, one direction. And we all, heard all and there's some crosstalk. But you could hear that they're catching up. Yep, that's the vehicle. All right, we're going to catch up on the vehicle. And just before they even activate any traffic or any overheads or siren, you hear, all right, call it off. And they're like, you understand this is a murder suspect. And the other ones are saying, yeah, it's a murder suspect. Call it off. And then they call it off and you say, nope, he's going the other direction. And then you hear some radio traffic. What a joke. Wow.
764.
164.
Cicero now.
We're notifying Cicero, yes.
You have 64 boy, terminate yet.
Hi, 1164 boy per 64, terminate.
Okay.
Guys, hold on. Stop talking for just a second. 1164 boy, what's your last location?
For murder? 764 boy, West Ogden and Cicero going northbound. That car is still going south. We're not following.
Alright, so the vehicle's southbound on Cicero from Ogden? Alright, so 1164 boy, drop anchor at Cicero and Ogden. 1164, did you copy?
Copy. 99 on the way.
10-4.
Officer Job. Care wanted for the murder?
And is wanted for shooting somebody, yes.
Yikes.
Just, and we talked about it when you said you were going to do this subject. It just infuriates me, number one, that happened. Number two, this is happening all over the United States. It's not just Chicago, although I haven't heard of any murder suspects other than this one being let go. But the clamp down philosophy that has happened all over this country where police officers are just being basically told, unless you can walk over and put handcuffs on them and there's no resisting and there's no nothing else and everything goes as planned, we're not doing it.
Yeah. And from the murder to the calling off, less than 15 minutes. They were right on it. They had identification. They had positive ID on the vehicle. They had positive ID. It was a stolen vehicle. Everything. It wasn't, well, we're not really sure if this is the vehicle.
Right.
No, there was no ambiguity. They knew that this was the vehicle.
This is the mentality that gave us Uvalde.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Don't do your job.
So let's talk about pursuit policy for a minute, because I've been out of the game for a little bit, and you guys were working. So let's say, LT, I'm behind a car, and I activate my lights, and they take off, and I call over the radio. I got one running from me. You as a supervisor, what do you ask me?
Charges.
Yep. That's funny, because that's exactly what I tell my students. I say, I give them the same scenario, and they're like, well, let's get back up. And I said, no, you guys are the supervisor. What is the very first question you ask me? And
Charges.
All over. And I said, nope, you ask them. And then we talk about pursuit policy and forcible felony. What's the general pursuit policy in Florida?
Forcible felony,
Which is what?
which is a crime of violence against a person or the threat of violence if the person is not apprehended, that some violent act is going to occur if you don't stop the individual.
Right.
It either has happened or is getting ready to happen if the individual is not stopped.
Didn't they amend FHP's policy, though? I think FHP is now, they can pursue for anything.
Well, they did for a while. I just don't know if it's still that way or
Because
not.
one of the big
As long as
things
it's a felony. It did.
I thought it was anything, even
I
traffic.
think it had to
even
be at
traffic.
least a felony, but I don't know.
But, so you have to understand,
Tim, if you're listening, let us know. Tim, we're calling you out. Let us know what FHP said.
the policy is significantly more restrictive than what the law allows. Case law says, United States Supreme Court says, that a pursuit falls on is the responsibility of the person fleeing law enforcement.
Right.
And by fleeing, they're actually committing a forcible felony, which then qualifies as a reason to pursue.
Because they're putting everyone's life in danger by fleeing. And of course, you have the left wing, crazy left wing. I'm not talking about all left wing, but the crazy left wing that'll say, well, it wouldn't have been putting people in danger if you didn't put your blue lights on and try to stop them and make them run from you.
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, no, it's and we'll talk about Berkeley's.
You know, the only problem with the United States Supreme Court is with that decision is the guy that dissented and said all of that, and I know exactly who you're talking about, is no longer with us.
No.
He's no longer on the Supreme Court.
Oh yeah.
So you know that's just going to go. You know.
So why? Because I remember just as I was getting into law enforcement. I mean, this was like 100 years after you.
Whatever.
They had gone through a big change
Hey,
where.
Camille, hold on. Let me turn it up for you. There. Can you hear it now?
I can hear it now. Yeah, they had gone through a big change of not pursuing everybody because people were dying in car crashes for suspended license.
No, they were, and I absolutely agree with that. I think that your basic misdemeanors and this and that, traffic offense, whatever. Yeah, they become a felon when they start, or fleeing. But I don't think we should chase for those basic misdemeanors, the real petty misdemeanors. Right. But buddy, in my book anyway, this is my opinion only my opinion from the old person in the room. If it's a freaking felony of any kind, shape, or form, then by God, you should be able to pursue them till the damn tires fall off, or until it becomes so dangerous, meaning you're coming up to a school zone, school just let out, you know that they're heading in the direction of a school zone, and it's a grand theft, no violence involved, it's still a felony. Okay, we might want to, think about that one. But that's the supervisor's decision to say, let's break this one off. Yeah. Not freaking murder.
Yeah.
Personally,
3 murder suspects.
I think what we should do is we should, and don't disclose what day of the week it is, but just take 2 days of the week and say you're allowed to pursue these 2 days.
Don't tell anybody what those 2 days are.
Well, no, only the cops on duty are.
No, I'm saying the bad guys. Don't tell anybody
because bad guys know that we're not allowed to pursue.
Yes, they do.
I mean, we had a situation where a vehicle matched the description of a armed robbery suspect, so therefore pursuit was valid, and the neighboring agency to our city found a vehicle matching that description, so they're trying to stop what they believed might be armed robbery suspects.
Right.
Okay, so they turn the lights on, start to try to stop them. They take off, and you could see the driver just keeps looking back like, you're not supposed to be following me. You're not. He ran into a house.
Me.
I ran into.
I mean, he drove into the house.
Oh,
that's
boy.
funny.
Wow.
So with Chicago, those guys still haven't been caught because it was a stolen vehicle. And they're gone in debris.
And they were a murder.
Yes.
Well, maybe you could call that odontologist.
No, definitely not. So let's
new
talk.
policies.
So we're going to talk about different agencies.
Well, what's the new policies?
Chicago, actually, they did their pursuit policy is pretty normal. So that's one of the big puzzler. They don't have a new vehicle pursuit policy that would qualify for this. What they do have is a
No foot pursuit,
foot pursuit policy.
which is the dumbest thing in the world.
Right. So last year, there wasn't. It was all over the national news. A 13-year-old kid out at 3:00 in the morning with a handgun gets stopped by Chicago.
They should pass a law that says you can't be 13 and have a handgun.
Yeah, at 3:00 in the morning.
Wait,
let's work on that. Let's see if we can get that law passed.
So
I mean, Jesus.
3:00 in the morning, Chicago PD checks out with this kid. And I think there was somebody else involved anyway. So he takes off running down this alleyway, and he stops, and he has a handgun, and he goes to
he turns.
He turns
on the officer.
And they shoot him, kill him, and it's like, oh, cops just murdered a 13-year-old boy. Yeah, he had a handgun. So Chicago PD, in response to that, no foot pursuits.
and look at their crime rate and
Yeah.
what it is doing to this day right now. It's got to be probably the highest in the entire nation now.
Yeah.
Or if not, it's right up
And
there.
they have the most murders. They don't have the highest murder rate, but they do have the absolute most murders. Yeah. And it's shootings. I mean, yeah.
I mean, here's a crazy thing. This is what's happened to our country, though. I had to drive up to New Jersey last week. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, right?
Keep in mind, and New Jersey State Police are considered
Got a beer in there?
Yeah.
one of the premier agencies.
Yeah, you always hear about New Jersey
New
State
Jersey
Police.
State Police.
Thank you, sir.
I kid you not. They have the flashing, the signs over the roadway and all that stuff, where it says, crash ahead.
Yeah. Pretty standard.
Yeah. New Jersey State Police hiring.
Oh, right.
Like, I mean, if you put an application in with New Jersey State Police, it was like one of 10,000 applicants, and they would go through with a fine-tooth comb. And if you had anything misspelled,
Right.
anything...
They were at the top of the top. The absolute best.
Yeah, but I mean, if your application had anything misspelled, anything crossed out, anything not perfect, right in the trash.
Yeah.
They didn't even bother looking at it.
That's what I said. They want the best of the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now,
And now they
they're
have to
begging people.
advertise. They have to beg people to become cops.
Yeah. So running away from the cops is no longer a crime in Chicago. So you can just run away either in a vehicle if you've murdered somebody or on foot. So that spurred me to look at some other state laws, and there's probably a ton more than I've listed here. Washington state law, I think it was, I sent you guys this, January of this year, whole shit ton of new laws came in. Washington, any officer in the state of Washington may not use a canine to effect an arrest.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God, man.
No tear gas because it makes makes people cry.
See, that's a result of all the riots they had.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, and now they actually have to. You can use it as long as it is declared a riot.
Okay.
So there's certain criteria, but you have to wait until it's been declared.
Now, that's not, so you're not saying pepper spray. You're just
Yeah,
saying
tear gas. And I was going to look at see if it didn't. It said specifically tear gas, and I don't know if they were including in lower.
And tear gas, and that's because of the
Right.
That's what they were doing.
But
for
it doesn't
the riot.
include pepper spray.
Right.
Okay.
Because once it's declared a riot, then he uses tear gas to disperse the crowd.
Yeah.
But until it is declared a riot, which I guess is a mostly peaceful protest.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
And you burn a building. That's peaceful.
And I think they went. I think they went 300 days in a row in Portland with them declaring a riot.
The summer of love.
Yes.
Yeah.
Berkeley, California. The city council in Berkeley passed BurkDOT, and what it did is it
Civilians are making traffic stops.
well, not only that, but law enforcement is not allowed to make traffic stops for minor offenses. Yeah.
Well, it's Berkeley. I mean, come on.
Well, and here's my question. Because,
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, I live in Florida. I know the Florida laws.
Right.
Okay, I'm not sure what California law is, but why the hell would you stop for someone who's not a police officer?
Right.
They have no lawful authority to detain you.
That's and when I was reading this article, I think there was somebody. It wasn't the governor because he probably signed it. There was some sheriff. That's what it was. It was a sheriff saying, "You can't have this because civilians are not authorized to be making traffic stops. It's against the law."
Because when you're stopped on a traffic
That is
stop,
a seizure.
that is a seizure, a detention,
Yep.
and it has to be supported by probable cause or at least reasonable suspicion.
Yep.
Okay, but only law enforcement can do that. You're not allowed to detain someone.
Right. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, actually, you are. If you're making a citizen's arrest, you are.
Yes, but they don't
On
have
a
to yield
felony.
to that detention.
But, right. Exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So LT, John, why is it important for law enforcement? There's two reasons I could think of for law enforcement to stop vehicles that have broken taillights, that have rolled through stop signs, various minor offenses.
Well, I mean, that's actually where most serial killers get arrested. But
Ted Bundy, we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Headlight out.
But and they're not pretextual per se.
And pretexts were ruled.
Where you stop something and they're legal, but you
Yes.
stop someone for for a minor traffic offense with the intent of trying to find something bigger.
Right.
Right.
But
And the Supreme Court said that those are fine.
they're perfectly legal.
Absolutely.
As long as it was a legitimate reason.
stop.
Lawful stop. Right. So, yeah, we stop.
Oh, come on. You know that all traffic stops are pretextual.
We want safe vehicles on the streets.
Right.
Bottom line. And we get dope out of it. We get warrants. We get burglars. We get serial killers. So, land this pig a little bit. I've got some other cities and states, Minneapolis and a lot of other cities, left-wing cities have, and this was within the last couple of years where it's all been defund the police and blah, blah, blah. The city of Minneapolis, they were going to disband the city police department. Yeah. But not only that, is they had a commitment to reduce police presence in schools. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
God.
New York City, and we talked about this.
Yeah, we don't need cops in schools.
Right.
Evidenced by what's been going on
There's no
lately.
school shootings ever.
Yeah.
Never, ever.
New York City stopped a few years ago. They stopped Terry stop and frisks. You can't do a
Right.
Terry stop. And most recently, they stopped qualified immunity for law enforcement. Why would any cop want to be in law enforcement without qualified immunity? That just makes
Oh, hell no.
No.
Hell no.
And just real quick before we finish, why don't you tell us what qualified immunity is? Just
Qualified immunity is basically, as a police officer, if you are acting in the duties and under the color of law and within your policies of your agency, you are thereby immune from prosecution as long as you were within the canons of the laws and ethics and policies of your department. You're immune from prosecution for doing your
And
job.
it's not just prosecution. You're also immune from civil
liability. Absolutely.
Can't be
Both.
sued as long as you are complying with
Right, and
state law, policy, all
yes.
that.
And the ironic thing is, it does not just apply to police officers. It applies to any government employee,
Right.
including politicians.
Including prosecutors who have
Failed to do their job.
They have sovereign immunity. Just
Right.
about, yeah. So where does this end? How does this end?
The only way it's going to end is when, in my opinion, is when these United States of America and the citizens that inhabit it say, enough is a frickin' enough. Let's give the power back to the police agencies. Yes, with some governance, of course.
Absolutely.
But let's give the power back to the police departments. Let's take away all this crazy notion crap that's going on. And we want law and order in our society. Until that happens, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And, I talk to 90% of the people I talk to. I don't know if they have the same beliefs I am. And, of course, a lot of people I associate with are either law enforcement, former law enforcement, or family of law enforcement. But everybody I talk to says the same thing. This shit has to come to an end soon. Like, real freaking soon. Or our children are not going to freaking survive.
But I just want to make a quick point because
No,
I
absolutely.
do think one of the most important things is the sheriffs in this country are what's going to save us.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
most of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
Especially Florida.
well, yeah, but here's what's going to happen. You have L.A. County Sheriff Villanueva. Okay, is actually trying to do his job, trying to do what he's supposed to be, trying to do what he was elected to do. Okay, and the
Wait, is that stop crime?
well, so the LA Commission just voted that we have the authority to remove the sheriff if we don't like him.
Oh my God! And that's a
They
consti-
voted themselves
and
that.
Yes,
and that's a constitutional officer. Well, these are the same assholes, not them in particular, but our politicians that vote themselves pay raises right and left.
yeah, but so that's going to be overturned. They're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, I don't think that because I mean the governor can remove a sheriff,
Yes, for cause.
but not for cause. Like the sheriff in was it West Palm Beach where the Stoneman Douglas shooting was. They removed the sheriff because there was so many incidences.
Brian Israel.
Israel, yeah. And he removed him.
Guy's got a freaking mind like a steel trap. He remembers crap like you can't even believe. If the world was full of Sheriff Clarks, Sheriff Grady Judd, Sheriff Clark from Arizona, right?
Clark is
He's up north.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, yeah.
He is?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're thinking of
Ohio.
Joe Arpaio.
Yeah. The one that had the pink. Pink.
Yeah,
and
that's Ohio.
Okay, if we
Clark
had,
was in Milwaukee.
if we had those two, and if we had Grady Judds here in Florida,
Wayne Ivey.
if we had a whole freaking country full of them, we would have no goddamn crime problem.
Right, absolutely.
All right, let's land this pig.
All right. Hey guys, I hope you appreciate the show. Thanks. We want you to subscribe. Give us comments in the comment section below. Let us, give us some ideas. Final comments or?
I don't have any final comments other than America, wake up. That's all I can say. Just wake up.
All right. At Surviving the Badge,
We still got your six.